Well, hello everybody. Night one, Hollywood Bowl. We have reached the backstretch, unfortunately. Only two shows remain after tonight. And, well, the repeat thing is sure busted. And it was busted in a big way. It was busted early and often throughout. And I've been a big defender of the songs that are heavy in the rotation. Most of the time, they are they're heaters. They're coming through for us. They just continue to grow as the shows go on. It wasn't necessarily the case tonight. We got a bunch of sixes here. 46 days of, putting them on a scale of 1 to 10, which is just not really something we should do. But, just to say, that was probably a 6. This, if all timers are 10s, that may be a 6.5. If we're looking at more 6s, a 7 possibly, another 7. Chalk Dust had something going on a little bit. There's a little something kind of like a little Norwegian wood jam. They're kind of playing with that a little bit, even before that and after as well. So Chalk Dust was the one thing in the first set that had a little bit of life to it. Nothing like 46 days. It was just kind of, that's one of their better ones right now. And it wasn't really getting it tonight. The outro jam was really the best part of the 46 days. Rift, it was nice to see as our spring debut. A nice example of what their, maybe not their earliest songwriting, but early, kind of maybe like their tier 2 of songwriting, stage 2, Moma dance once again. And, I got to say, there were a few tonight. Again, as a guy who's defending songs heavy in the rotation. Some groans coming here from the Love Seat tour. So then Chalk Dust, another one where I probably, when it started, I was like, oh man, again. And then by the end, it had certainly won me over, Chalk Dust had. And then we go into Evolve. It probably wasn't, it was just okay. That song, it did start to grow on me, and now I'm already sick of it. Then Stash, wanted it to go maybe a little further. Again, it was a 6.5. Wolfman's Brother. Now look, a Harry Hood ending set 1. Somewhere around here, I was thinking, oh, wait, more, 0, what's it going to be? And then it was Harry Hood. So, a set closer. Not maybe a 7 or something. Not the greatest Hood, but it was ending a set there. And, I like Wolfman's Brother, but even that one, and Stash as well. If you're stuffing me on a desert island, and you're like, hey, man, you can throw some Phish songs on a cassette, and that's about all you got with this boom box and some D batteries. Stash and Wolfman's are probably going to be on there. Okay, Moma Dance in 46 days, probably not, but hell, even Harry Hood might. So it's not that I dislike the songs. It's all right. So I said way too much about a set that I really wasn't that into. I wasn't going to say much about that set. There wasn't a lot to say. So what's going through your mind? Opening up the set tonight, and then definitely not going deep with it. One that we've come to know as like, hey, that was our big one tonight. Just kind of playing the set opener role here tonight, and Carini going a little bit deeper. Then we start to go a little bit here. Really, I'm going to say this trio. I'm going to exclude Carini, although it was nice. Carini had some moments for sure, and this one just never really. It didn't really get a chance to, and then we got into Carini. But then Light and Mike's like, look, we're never going to play Wingsuit. I have this drill. The drill comes out for Light. Mercury, another spring debut. We only got 2, I think, tonight, I believe. Yeah, I think only 2. But Mercury, very welcomed. One that's almost gone at this point, but should not be. I feel like that should be a regular. Then Piper, look, if you're into slow build Pipers, this wasn't it. Off to the races Piper was. It didn't go long. But while they were there, it was lightning, life beyond the dream. At least they've wisened up, and they're putting a couple of hot tracks in between, before and after, I should say, Life Beyond the Dream, and then Ghost. Wow. Ending the set strong. That is one thing they have been doing this run, mostly ending sets really strong. Harry Hood over here, just a blazing Ghost here, kind of picking up where Piper left off. Maybe late in the night, Trey's like, hold on, give me 5. We play my little song here, and then we'll get back to it. And then they did, all business, all business. Business. Take away just leave the ass part. All right. And then Possum, Tweezer Reprise is our encore tonight. Bug wasn't included, at least. All right. Possum, more smoking, Tweezer Reprise. A lot of people looked somewhat bored tonight on the webcast, I'll say. I don't know what that means. Could be they were on substances. Could be they're just greedy. Could be it was just an okay show. Now, I know at least one fan, it was their first show. Now, I'm sure they had an absolute blast. They're probably like, what are you talking about, man? Don't mind me. You had a blast, you had a blast. Ended up being more red than really, it was this trio. And Carini deserves probably a little in on that trio. But really, this was the highlight of the night. And then Ghost coming strong. Hood really getting a little love just because it was in the first set. Chalk Dust was cool, certainly worth a listen, but everything else, man. Average Andrew. I don't know why I'm getting the Sharpie back out. This thing's over. That's night one. There's only 2 left. You figure one of these next 2 is going to knock our heads off, hopefully. That's it. That's all I got. Sorry. Boom. Love you guys. I don't know. I'm still waiting for something. Mercury was very welcomed. Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow.